everybody, and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about DCKO issue 5, written by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, with art by Javier Fernandez, Zermanico and Wes Craig, and colors by Alejandro Sanchez. The finale for DC Comics' big event is finally here, and it hits the ground running as Lex Luthor has defeated Superman and has been crowned as King Omega, told to gather his power and adopt a new form so he can fight Darkseid. Superman, meanwhile, is encased in stone, but something strange happens in the second between his imprisonment as he remembers the moment Darkseid attacked all of reality all at once, and how he and his friends were at a game night and how it was interrupted. As they ready to fight Darkseid, Clark knows that this is different, realizing Time Trapper has stopped all of time. Snyder and Williamson are wasting no time connecting the Time Trapper plot up to the main storyline, and really the Trapper parts of the Superman ongoing over the last couple of months were required reading. The entire book was, so if you haven't caught up on that, might I suggest you go and check out my reviews of the issues leading up to this. Superman thinks that Time Trapper created a new timeline, one that isn't his actual future, just a separate reality. Trapper says as much, since he didn't trust anyone on the Quantum Quorum, thinking one of them was a Darkseid agent, and one was, though he was surprised it was Booster Gold of all people. He says he made this pocket timeline to protect Superman and Superman alone. Clark asks the obvious question, why him? And Trapper knows that their lives are forever entangled, locked in a cycle of death and rebirth. But recently, an unlikely person revealed the truth to him, that he is the Alpha to Darkseid's Omega and destined to destroy him. As I've said in my Superman ongoing reviews, the rehabilitation Williamson has been giving Doomsday is nothing short of fantastic. He's an actual character now with emotions, needs and wants and desires, not just some mindless tool used for violence or action or to sell comic books. Evolving him into a being who finally gets there is more to life than fighting and dying and violence feels so satisfying, and they managed to do it all while keeping everything from before intact. His entire history is still there and intact. They haven't retconned anything, removed anything, it's all still there, and it's building on that and everything else and adding in their own little things as well, nothing that really disrupts anything either. And it's made Doomsday a much more well-rounded character because of it. Trapper wants to break the cycle, taking Superman out into the timeline to show him how he's seen death and channeled the Omega, but he's also seen new beginnings and creative chaos. The Alpha energy, which is the opposite to the Omega energy, something he's also channeled. Trapper wants to give Superman a new beginning, planning on giving all of the Alpha and Omega energy he has inside of him to the Man of Steel, but in doing so will mean Doomsday will finally die forever. There's a really nice poetry to all of this. The creature thought to be designed to kill Superman, or the thing that was created to kill Superman off in the comics, is actually the thing that's going to give him that second chance and a rebirth and a life. It's a nice ending for Doomsday. Trapper knows that Superman is meant to be the King Omega, and while they think the universe bends towards Superman and reacts to him and him alone, which is actually something that was the basis of Doomsday Clock, which I did not expect to get referenced in the big 2026, but I love it. The book's relevance and how it treated Superman and had reverence for Superman is still going strong, and no matter how many people want to complain about it. Trapper wants Superman to promise that he'll win this, and Superman does, so they begin the transference of power. Zermanico does a really fucking cool thing here in the art when Trapper rips open his robes, as the tattered bits of the robe form the S symbol shield on his chest, like he's getting to do the classic Superman shirt rip, and that's just so fucking cool that Doomsday got to do one of them. Touching Superman, Trapper unleashes all of his energy from the hundreds of different forms he's had over the thousands and millions of years he's lived as Time Trapper and of Doomsday, giving Superman all of the power and saying goodbye to the Man of Steel one final time. Back in New Apocalypse, Lex is still showboating his power around when the Heart of Apocalypse senses something, feeling Superman is coming. Lex gets ready to face Darkseid, but he is instantly turned to dust as Superman returns, crowned the new King Omega. I really love that we just didn't bother having any time of day for Lex Luthor in this. It's just so fucking cool. You know, Superman just waved him away into dust. He's so far beyond dealing with Lex Luthor. He has no time to deal with his betrayals or anything. He's got Darkseid to deal with. He needs to get right into the fight, and we do. Just before charging the villain, Superman reaches out and takes the power of the King Omega, the universe being reborn in his image image and by his hand. These pages, with art by Javi Rodriguez and Alejandro Sanchez, are just incredibly beautiful, just a smorgasbord of vibrant colors and visuals popping off the page that show universes being rebuilt from Superman's hands. There's that classic DC image of the hand that creates the universe, the hand of creation, and it's Superman's hand this time around. It's just so fucking cool. Superman calls the heart into his chest, finally becoming the fully fledged King Omega as he grows in size to match Darkseid. The battle begins all across reality all at once, Superman battling Darkseid, but even with his godhood, Superman's power isn't enough, and Darkseid socks him hard in the gut, winding the Man of Steel. Superman dodges the next blow at the last minute and is teleported into the past, where it's safe from Darkseid. The heart tells him to catch his breath and to begin to build with his new powers. The Heart of Apocalypse is a character that has been probably the most interesting part of this entire event, since it's a villain, but also not really. It's kind of a MacGuffin, but it's also a character in the book. It's really damn cool, and then on top of all of that, really interesting stuff with that character, there's also a meta stand-in for the fans. It's literally a spoilt, pissy fanboy who only wants action and punching and explosions and heroes fighting heroes because that's more interesting apparently. But then over the course of the series, it's begun to see what makes these characters so interesting and what drives them and who they are as people. And it's begun to see there is more to them than action, with it culminating here being like Clark's trainer in the corner of the ring, giving him, tips and actually backing him, kind of like Burgess Meredith in Rocky. He's just hyping Superman up and making sure he knows what he's doing. Superman follows the heart's directions and builds his own universe, equating it to a song as he makes the perfect universe. The power surges into Superman as Darkseid finds him, fighting Superman all through history, literally as they fall from the past into the future and back again, as Superman begins to retreat further and further into the past until they arrive at the Big Bang. With nowhere left to go, Superman is cornered, but the heart soon realizes the hero actually did this on purpose, as the Big Bang contains everything that ever will be and was, so Superman absorbs it, transforming into something higher than a god, becoming literally reality itself. Man, this is just some pure Dragon Ball Z anime fight stuff, just schlocky fight good time all across reality. But then there's also that great through line here where Superman is literally the first hero. He's the one that kicked it all off back in 1938. He is the DC universe, as without it, it would not exist in the way we know it. It's all because of Superman, and now he is literally the universe fighting against Darkseid. With his new Big Bang powers, Superman takes the fight to Darkseid, fighting him for what amounts to millions of years in seconds. He tells Darkseid, and the Heart for that matter, that he isn't playing anymore. Upon hearing this though, the Heart is confused, since if he doesn't fight, Superman's perfect universe that he created will die. Clark doesn't want a perfect universe though, and while he isn't quitting, he's just tagging some friends in. Clark uses his new powers to bring back every hero who was defeated in the Omega tournament, having them help him defeat Darkseid. This is such a Superman thing to do. He doesn't want the perfect sterile universe that's not something that's beautiful, since everything is the same and not unique in its own way. The Heart is angered, demanding to know why, as Darkseid is blown to ash, sent out into the universe. Clark tells the Heart that Lois said it best. He likes a game where everyone can win, and he isn't the King Omega because they don't need one, as no one needs all that power, since when one person wins, none of them do. So yeah, this is totally a Superman thing, and something he can and would do. He would make sure that everyone gets a second chance and gets a chance to live. People will no doubt get pissy in the comments of this video because there wasn't some quote-unquote clear winner or something like that. But the entire point of this event was never the fights. They were just like flavor for this. It's all about Superman's way of viewing things, which, we see through this entire story. Everyone doubted him all the way through the book. His way would not work. He has to change his ways. That way would not work. And at every turn, he proved them wrong, and then that thing ended up winning the day at the end. He ended up having everyone win, and that's what Superman wanted. And it's something I would not have any other way. Wonder Woman thanks Superman for what he did as the hero tells them to get into the rift he has opened up since it will keep them safe from what he's about to do. Batman knows that Superman is leaving them and Clark knows he has to, but he will be back. The heroes leave and Superman begins to unravel the perfect universe he created, reducing it down to a single moment, which he then sets free into the universe he is from, watching as the power spreads across the Prime universe, letting him see new and strange and beautiful things that begin to take shape. And things get meta one final time as Superman witnesses what's to come in DC Next Level, which is all those new books that have been recently announced. So he gets to see, Deathstroke and Lobo and, all these different characters, Firestorm, and I love how he sees them all and he sees this is what he wanted the universe to be. He wanted it to be explosive and terrifying and brave and wild, everything a universe should be. Sometime later, Bruce and Diana drop by Lois's for a game night, but Lois knows they don't have to keep coming over. Bruce knows that it's just a friendly visit to make sure Lois is okay, and Lois knows that her husband liked the game and liked that they were able to all win, so she wants to keep playing the game. During the game, Bruce thinks that he can't help but feel that while they stop Darkseid for now, he doesn't think the game ever stopped. As the book winds down, we get some hints at some things to come that we'll see in Justice League Unlimited and the Superman ongoing. But the one thing I really wish we had gotten was a moment with Clark and Lois, or Clark and his family. It feels like that was kind of a missed opportunity. I'm sure maybe the ongoing is going to deal with that because Williamson is writing this Superman ongoing. Maybe there will be a moment in the next issue where they all get to have that moment, because Lois does mention that Clark had to do something and she apparently met him, so maybe they want to focus that in the Superman ongoing, give it the time it deserves. But I feel like we should have just seen a panel or something just to hint that something between Lois and Clark, or Clark and his family, happened. As Mr. Terrific tracks some of the Alpha and Omega energies infecting people near the site of the tournament, and Superboy Prime debuts himself in Metropolis, the Absolute Legion worry Darkseid will come for them, and if not him, someone else will, which might be the setup to that Legion book. Maybe someone comes to find them, maybe Superboy comes to find the Legion and tries to help them and remind them of who they are. Lex, meanwhile, tries to get the press to run stories about how much of a cool, badass hero he was during the tournament, as elsewhere, the young Alfred Wayne and Damian Wayne from the world the Heart of Apocalypse created to test Batman tinker with the Batbox, gaining several signals from other Batmen from the future. This is by far the biggest surprise of this book. I guess we have something in store for that Night Fight universes and their respective Batmen. I really enjoyed that tie-in series, and I thought it needed to be built upon so much more. There was things in that universe that I'd love to see more of, and it felt like they were leaving money on the table by just having it be a tie-in to this event. So I am beyond happy that they seemingly are doing something with it, and that's going to appear somewhere. Over in Central City, the happily retired Barry Allen returns to his office, having not long finished his History of the DCU books. Surprisingly, he finds someone has tampered with his book, discovering on his computer that there has been a whole nother chapter written in the book called Book Zero. He reads some of the text, and as he does, his computer explodes with what appears to be Omega energy. Barry quickly puts out the fire caused by the energy, lamenting how he's lucky he's got backups, as Darkseid, alive and well, oversees the Absolute Universe, knowing those who oppose him haven't won the battle or the war. And while his creations on the Absolute world are unfazed right now, he has another army growing. As while Earth Zero fought against the Omega energy on their world, so did the Infinite Multiverse, with each world having their own version of the Omega tournament, fueling Darkseid, and once the Infinite Earths fall, there will be an absolute crisis of infinite Earths. So it wouldn't be a big DC event without the tease for both whatever the next event will be and the next crisis event, and it just so happens that the next event is a crisis event, so we get 2 for 1 in this, and it's an Absolute Universe themed event. That was teased a while back by Scott Snyder, that the Absolute Universe will be getting its own event, and I guess this is what this is, a version of Crisis of Infinite Earths. While I am very excited about the Absolute Universe getting their own big event and all the heroes coming together on that universe, I do wish they had just teased it a little later, not teased anything just yet, given us some breathing room. We've just come out of the big event and you're saying, oh, we're going into the next event. And it's kind of daunting for people. I totally get that. I get that this is how these things go. This is how it's been for years. The big event teases the next big event, just how it goes. That's how the books are sold. But I just wish, maybe a couple of weeks, put something in the back of like the Superman ongoing or the Justice League ongoing, just to hint at something that's coming. DCKO issue 5 really lived up to the hype for me. I loved everything about this issue, and it's a wonderful end cap to the event. I know people will absolutely complain and moan about the ending and it not having a clear winner, or their character didn't win the fight or anything, but it fit perfectly with the Superman-centric storyline that Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson have been trying to tell across this entire series, showing an outcome where everyone gets a second chance, everyone gets to win, and it's just full of hope and optimism for the future of the DC universe. I did think the tease for the next crisis of Absolute Earths, Infinite Earths, or whatever the hell they're going to do was a bit premature. I think they could have waited a little bit for that, but that's just how these things go. The big event teases the next big event, and it's just how comics are written. But I'm very much looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to what DC Next Level has in store for us. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.